Good morning, everyone. It's truly an honor and a surprise for a student who did not know how will he graduate, because the education medium in Delhi School of Engineering, where Professor Sharma was my principal, was English medium, and I had come from Hindi medium classroom, and I wouldn't have known how would I even complete the engineering graduation. And today I am getting honored and privileged of getting an honorary degree here. Such a miracle happens in this world. I can say that. And I think this is a very interesting day in all of our life, because this is the time when we decide what our life's journey could be, and potentially the steps that we take today will define what and who we are. And today I share 3 stories of anecdotes of my life, which probably would be some of you resonate with, and they are very much as you go through. I was an engineering college student in 1998, electronics and communication, and I had a boy crush on Sunil Mittal. He was the man who was building telecom in this country, and I'm such a big fan that I actually wrote a blog post saying, I know I can't work for him because I'm such an engineering graduate, but I wish someday I look up to, and he knows that I'm a fan of him. Look at this again, this miracle happens and he's saying that I'm his friend. I just can't believe this is happening here. Well, I came from an Hindi medium school, and engineering college was for me like a movement of Tare Zameen Par, when teacher was teaching and the student had an alphabet flying in the sky, right? Because what teacher was asking me, I couldn't even understand, because I was not even native to the language the teacher was speaking. And one of the biggest problems for me in engineering college was that when I go in library, I used to see newspaper, magazine advertisements of notebooks. And for me, a notebook in Bhargav dictionary was called a copy, the copy on which notebook that we write, and I did not have a clue why it is called a computer called a notebook. And I share this fact that I was such an introvert person and had an inferiority complex that it took me a year to ask a friend of mine that, can you please tell me why it is called a notebook computer when it is not even that you can write on top of it. But the beauty was that you build some great friends when you are graduating, and one of the best friends of mine ended up becoming a great friend for life and future, was the one who shared that why it is called notebook. And I want to tell you this very fact that when you are in the middle of a business or a situation or a condition that is thrown upon you, that you do not even know what the problem is, because I did not even know what teacher is speaking, how do I appear in an examination for that, was kind of situation. But as they say, as we heard, that it is all about that your commitment and perseverance that will take you there. So do not think that there is a moment when you can go back. And these are the moments when the folklores are written. Today I am telling you this story because this is exactly what otherwise should have not happened. Whenever in your life you're facing a situation which should not happen, is the moment of truth for you. Are you looking to make it happen, and are you looking to make a story out of it for everybody else to listen to? That is the opportunity when such tough problem comes. Second problem was that I started this company way back in 2001, as we talked about, and I did not have institutional capital. I had my own personal money to run with it. And I had an undying desire, I had a strong urge that I wish to create a legacy and a company out of this country which will be known to be a technology company that country produces. Obviously, India produced incredible amount of IT services company, and we are so proud of those people who created them. Except that they were considered as a sort of a third world version of technology, like a outsourcing unit, like a back office, like a do my work and I will not give you the glory. That sort of companies are these. So I had probably gone through a moment which I decided that at my company I'll create one that India will be proud of and the world will look up to. And then when I started to create that, it was tough to get institutional investors because people didn't believe that India can produce such companies. So one time in my life, I had this situation that my cash flows went bonkers. I was an engineer, I did not know the problem of cash flow even if I'm profitable in balance sheet. And I had this my parents wanted me to get married, and people who would come to see this eligible bachelor, quote unquote eligible here, wouldn't come return the calls back to my parents. My parents didn't know what happened in my life, why the guys are not coming back, because they thought I'm a great engineer and doing pretty decent, hopefully. And that time they came to know that I did not have money to even have my dinners, my friend. I used to walk from Priya Cinema, which is in Vasant Kunj, to Kashmiri Gate, where my college campus was. I could take 14-kilometer walk because I didn't have money, and it was very normal for me. And I think in those days, they were dark days, but there was a single hope that allowed me to perform what I want to. And that is the kind of negotiation I wanted to do with my parents. And surprise, I was able to figure out that my parents, even if they did not want me to do this, but the excitement that I had, the perseverance and the intent that I had was exciting for them, and they let them happen. So for every parent who is in this audience today, if your kid wants to do something which is for you, is totally something that you would wish that is out of the world and illogical, maybe you should give that kid a chance. That 1 year chance for me was a chance when telecom grew up in this country, by the way. This was the time in 2005 and 6, so Mr. Patel will know this is the time when calling party pays, etc. came, and then the country changed to a different level of telecom. And finally, the third one will be that this happened in 2014, not much back. And this is the time when every company has to reinvent. And I think this reinvention cycle, traditionally companies had luxuries of 10s and 15s of years. Today in technology world, it is as less as 3 or 5 years. In 5 years, you have to reinvent. And as luck would have had, that I was running this company for 10 years, and now the time had come to be reinvented to something else. And that is the time when we were trying to build something called Paytm today. Everybody told me, including my board members and investors, that in the country where people are very comfortable carrying cash and paying using cash, you attempting a digital currency, you attempting a digital payment business is nothing but sort of an open-eyed foolish. It is so stupid for you to attempt, because even other technology companies have not tried doing it in the last 12 years since the internet had come in the country. In fact, I'm sure all of you would know, and these are the days when e-commerce was growing in the country, and companies used to send the box at your place and take the cash in the hand. So it was like a sort of a sorted problem and accepted norm that you wouldn't need a digital currency in the country. And I had a strong urge to change this very fact, because I came from a background where I knew carrying cash was not those who do not have cash wanted. Poor people do not like to carry cash, because for them there is a theft probability and there is a probability that they may lose it, and they want to make a lot more security without having the cash in their hand. And obviously this country did not have financial inclusion of even giving them a bank account for so many years that we know of. So took a bet again, and this 2014 was the time when we had probably $25 million in the bank, and the company was spending money because such businesses require significant capital up front. And this money that we were spending was going out very fast from us. And there was a time when my board member again went back on the board to say, Vijay, you built a great company till now, you had profits, and today you are depleting your cash reserves, and soon you will probably, going this way, will go into a loan situation. And loan in this country is a big evil, right? And I'm sure that as soon as you have a ton of loan on your balance sheet, you do not know how to repay, especially when the business is also not generating cash, will be far tough. But this is a time, again, we took a vow and we took a challenge to us that we will change fate of this country by changing the currency into a mobile currency and bringing something which countrymen need, and young people like you will be the brand ambassador of, and that is the kind of product that we want to bring in the country instead of every other rational and a consulting justification that was allowed. So we took against the trend and we built this thing called Paytm. And then there was a day when I remember that I pledged my shares to get 60 crore rupees of loan, which was about $10 million that time. And then we had to earn some money. And I had said no to a couple of marquee investors. So there was a time that you had said no, you do not have more money than the money that you can raise. But we were at it. And then in the conference room, I wrote this saying literally a song saying, "Go big or go home." And I told my team, either we will be the spark, either you will be the comet who dies this evening, or we'll be the star which will shine on this planet and galaxy. We will either go big or go home. Ladies and gentlemen, that was an opportunity for us to build something substantially different than what had been built. And all great successes in the world are having a very incredible component called dare and risk-taking ability. If you believe you want to be different, by doing more of the same, you will never be different. You have to be different by taking risk onto some things which traditionally have been said, do not do it. If you want to be different and do something worthwhile, then you just cannot do something which has been told to you to do and traditionally has been restricted not to do. Time comes, an opportunity comes for all of us, and as we heard, as we am talking about the cycle, the small becomes big, become complacent, or sometimes there is a new thing that comes which gets discovered over the period. Either ways, there are many opportunities that are getting created in this country. My fellow students, you would be surprised that the country now is attention of the rest of the world, whether it is US, Europe or China or Asia, what this market is becoming. If something that got created, listen to this carefully, if something that got created in last 60 years or 65 years now probably reaching of independence that we're talking in this country, total GDP of this country will double in next 5 to 7 years. So cumulative what got created till today will get double in next 5 to 7 years. Imagine the opportunity that lies in front of you, my friend. With that, I really wish that you create great enterprises, you be great teammates, you be great scholars, and you inspire the generations to come. Thank you so much for having me here. It's an honor and a privilege to be in front of you.